Look at the dashboard of your car right now. The check engine light just blinked on. You are sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Interstate 405. Your coffee is cold. Your back hurts from a car seat you do not even fully own yet. You look around at the other cars and realize everyone else looks exactly as exhausted as you do. I know exactly how this feels because I have lived that exact morning. You grip the steering wheel and do the mental math. You are making $120,000 a year. By all the rules you were taught in high school, you should be rich. But your checking account currently has $300 to last until next Friday. This is not a mistake. This is the deliberate design of the game you are playing. Meet David. David is 34 years old and works as a senior project manager. He wears a nice fleece vest to the office and has a solid title on his LinkedIn profile. He makes exactly $120,000 a year. When he signed his offer letter, he took his wife out to a fancy dinner to celebrate. He thought he had finally made it. But let us look at the actual math of David's life. We are going to do a forensic analysis on where his money actually goes. Out of that $120,000, the government immediately takes about $30,000 in taxes. He never even sees that money hit his account. Now he is down to $90,000. His rent for a standard two-bedroom apartment in a safe neighborhood costs him $36,000 a year. Now he is down to $54,000. But David has to get to work. He leases a mid-size SUV because he wants his family to be safe on the highway. That lease, plus insurance, plus gas, plus maintenance, costs him $12,000 a year. He is down to $42,000. Wait, we are not done. Because David works 50 hours a week and commutes for 10, he has no time to cook. He pays the exhaustion premium. He orders food delivery 3 times a week. He buys the $5 coffee every morning just to feel awake enough to answer emails. He grabs overpriced lunches near the office because he did not have the energy to meal prep on Sunday. That convenience costs him another $15,000 a year. He is down to $27,000. Then we have the student loans he took out just to get the degree that secured this job. Another $10,000 gone. He is left with exactly $17,000 for the entire year. That is his real salary. $17,000 to cover groceries, medical bills, clothes, and maybe a vacation. Now let us convert this into hours of his life. David wanted to buy the new iPhone for $1,200. He looks at his gross pay and thinks it only costs him a few days of work. But remember, his real disposable income is only $17,000 a year, which means he only makes about $8 of truly free money per hour of his life. To buy that phone, David had to trade 150 hours of his actual life, 150 hours of sitting in endless Zoom meetings that could have been emails, 150 hours of dealing with a passive-aggressive boss, 150 hours away from his kids. If that number just punched you in the stomach, subscribe to the channel right now. Here, we do not talk about miracle investments or get-rich-quick garbage. Here, we talk about stopping the financial fraud you commit against yourself every single day. You see, the biggest lie you were ever sold is the concept of gross salary. Gross salary is a fake number invented by human resources to make you feel important. It is an illusion designed to extract your time without you noticing. They tell you that you make 6 figures, so you will willingly sign up for a lifestyle you cannot afford. If you are feeling angry right now, leave a like on this video. Anger is good. Anger is the very first step toward financial efficiency. We call this the work maintenance fraud. You are literally paying money just for the privilege of going to work. You buy clothes you would never wear at home. You buy a car you only need because your office is 20 miles away. You pay for software subscriptions to manage your personal life because your job drains all your mental bandwidth. And the villains in this story are not some shadowy figures in a boardroom. The villains are the friendly bank manager who convinced David to finance a car he did not need. The villain is the silent inflation at the grocery store that makes his bill $50 higher every week. The villain is the marketing department that convinced him a luxury vacation on a credit card was self-care. This is where the poverty premium comes in, even for the middle class. Because David has no liquid cash, he cannot buy basic household items in bulk. Because his credit cards carry high balances, his car insurance rates quietly go up. He pays more for everything simply because his money is tied up in the appearance of wealth. He is the perfect consumer. He is a highly efficient cash flow generating machine for Wall Street, but a liability to his own family. He checks his 401k balance once a month. The friendly HR representative told him the company match was free money. But the hidden administrative fees and inflation are eating his returns faster than he can contribute. He is running as fast as he can on a treadmill that someone else controls. I want you to think about your own morning routine. Think about the moment you swipe your card at the drive-thru. Think about the auto-pay notifications hitting your phone on the first day of the month. Every single ping is a fraction of your life energy leaving your control. You are trading your most finite resource for things that lose value the second you drive them off the lot. And the worst part is, you are doing it with a smile because society told you this is success. Society told you that a good credit score and a maxed-out mortgage is the American dream. But a good credit score just means you are highly profitable to a bank. It means you are really good at paying them interest on time. It does not mean you are wealthy. Wealth is having the option to turn off your alarm clock on a Tuesday. Wealth is not having to ask another adult for permission to go to the doctor. Right now, the largest transfer of wealth in human history is beginning. $124 trillion will change hands over the next 2 decades. But it will not go to the people who are exhausted. It will not go to the people paying the commute tax. It will go to the people who understand the mechanics of the game. It will go to the people who stop buying the illusion. You cannot position yourself for this wealth transfer if you are drowning in a car payment. You cannot seize a market opportunity if you are too tired to read a basic financial statement. Your exhaustion is highly profitable to the system. A tired middle class does not ask questions. A tired middle class just wants to watch streaming services and order takeout. They want you distracted. They want you arguing about news headlines while they quietly adjust the interest rates. They want you feeling successful because you have a heavy piece of metal plastic in your wallet. But plastic is not equity. A lease agreement is not ownership. A job title will not pay for your retirement. We have to break this cycle today. I want to give you a very specific, practical task. When this video ends, I want you to sit down at your kitchen table. Open your checking account statement from last month. Calculate every single dollar you spent just to maintain your ability to work. Add up the gas, the dry cleaning, the convenience food, the stress relief purchases. Subtract that from your take-home pay. Calculate how much of your salary actually belongs to you. The final number is going to terrify you. It will show you exactly how much of your life you are giving away for free. If this video opened your eyes, send it to that colleague who always looks exhausted in the break room. Send it to the friend who is living paycheck to paycheck on a 6-figure salary. We are going to exit this hamster wheel together. We are going to stop playing defense and start playing offense. Comment, "I see the system," to validate your awakening today. Now look at the paper they handed you on your first day of work. The benefits package folder with the smiling people on the cover. Your human resources representative sat across from you and told you to sign up for the company match. They told you the 401k is your golden ticket to a peaceful retirement. They looked you directly in the eyes and sold you an illusion. Your financial advisor is not your friend. The nice manager at the bank branch does not care about your golden years. Wall Street is not holding your hand to help you cross the finish line. They built a holding pen for your capital, and they named it a retirement account. Let us talk about the greatest trick ever pulled on the American middle class. I call it the liquidity lockdown. You take the hardest earned dollars of your week, the money you traded your actual life energy to acquire. You lock it in a digital vault that you cannot touch without paying massive penalties. And you gladly hand the keys to a fund manager in New York. He takes your money and uses it to generate massive yields for his firm. He leverages your locked-up cash to buy assets that pay out immediately. And what do you get in return for funding his lifestyle? You get a quarterly statement showing a microscopic paper gain. You get the privilege of waiting 40 years to ask for permission to use your own money. Meet David. David is 35 years old, and he does everything by the book. He makes $95,000 a year as a project manager. Every single month, he automatically routes 15% of his paycheck into his 401k. He feels incredibly responsible when he logs into his portal. But David just had his transmission blow out on the interstate. The tow truck driver drops his car at a shop that smells like old oil and burnt rubber. The mechanic tells him he needs $3,000 right now to fix his car so he can get to work on Monday. David has $120,000 sitting in his retirement account, but he cannot touch it. If he withdraws it early, the IRS will hit him with a 10% penalty right off the top. Then they will tax the entire withdrawal as ordinary income. So what does David actually do? He pulls out a piece of plastic and puts the car repair on a credit card, charging 24% interest. He has 6 figures of his own wealth sitting in the market, yet he is borrowing money at loan shark rates. This is not an accident of the system. This is a feature of the system. Wall Street gets to play with David's money for free. The credit card company gets to charge David 24% because his money is locked up. David is funding both sides of the financial machine while driving a broken car. Let us do the math on the fees hidden inside David's target date fund. He pays a 1% management fee every single year. That sounds completely harmless, right? It is just 1 penny out of every dollar. But over 30 years of compounding, that 1% fee eats up nearly 30% of his total potential returns. For every 3 days David works to build his retirement, he spends 1 full day working exclusively to buy his fund manager a new boat. He is literally donating a decade of his working life to Wall Street. If that number just punched you in the stomach, subscribe to this channel. Here we do not talk about miracle investments or get-rich-quick garbage. We talk about stopping the fraud you are committing against yourself. Sometimes I sit in my car in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the 405 freeway. I look at the sea of red brake lights stretching out for miles into the smog, and I realize every single driver in those cars is doing exactly the same thing. We are dragging our exhausted bodies to jobs we tolerate. We are doing it to fund accounts we cannot touch. We are blindly hoping that when we are 65, sick, and tired, the market will magically be at an all-time high. It is a blind gamble where you front all the cash and take all the downside risk. But the trap goes much deeper than your retirement plan. Let us talk about the other end of the financial spectrum. Let us talk about the poverty premium. This is the unspoken rule that being poor is the most expensive luxury in America. Meet Christine. Christine works at a busy dental office and takes home $3,000 a month. Her bank account balance usually hovers around zero by the 28th of the month. Because she cannot maintain a minimum balance of $1,500, her bank charges her a $12 monthly maintenance fee. That is $144 a year just for the right to hold her own money in a checking account. Then her electric bill auto-drafts a day before her paycheck actually clears. The automated email arrives at 2 in the morning. The bank pays the $70 utility bill, but they hit her with a $35 overdraft fee. She pays a 50% tax just for being out of sync by 24 hours. Christine buys cheap work shoes for $40 because that is all the cash she has left. Those shoes wear out in 6 months and hurt her back, so she has to buy another pair. In 5 years, she spends $400 on cheap shoes that ruin her posture. David buys a pair of high-quality boots for $200 that last him a full decade. Christine spends twice as much money to have worse gear simply because she lacks upfront capital. This is the exact mechanic of the Sam Vimes boots theory in real time. The system monetizes your lack of liquidity everywhere you go. It happens in the middle of the grocery store aisle. Christine cannot afford to buy bulk paper towels at Costco. She buys single rolls at the corner pharmacy for 3 times the unit price. It happens every time she renews her auto insurance. Because she cannot pay the 6-month premium up front, the insurance company charges her a monthly installment fee. She pays an extra 10% a year just because she pays monthly. It happens when she tries to get a reliable vehicle. Her credit score is low because her credit utilization is high. So when she finances a used Honda, the dealer hits her with a 14% interest rate instead of 5%. Over a 5-year auto loan, Christine pays thousands of dollars more for the exact same car than someone with prime credit. The math is absolutely ruthless. The less money you have, the more everyone charges you simply to exist. I call this the convenience tax for the rich and the survival penalty for the poor. If you are feeling angry about these calculations right now, leave a like on this video. Anger is the first step toward efficiency. You cannot fix a leak in your house until you are furious about the water damage on your ceiling. Both David and Christine are caught in different layers of the exact same machine. David is stripped of his liquidity by Wall Street marketing. Christine is bled dry by the hidden fees of institutional poverty. Neither of them has actual control over their own cash flow. Think about the silent inflation happening in your everyday life. Your grocery bill went up by 30% over the last 3 years. The package of chicken breasts shrank by 2 ounces, but the price tag stayed exactly the same. Your salary only went up by 3% last year. Your company sent out an email calling it a cost of living adjustment. It was not an adjustment, it was a pay cut disguised as a raise. You are working the exact same hours, dealing with the same stressful meetings, but your purchasing power is evaporating. And what does the financial media tell you to do? They tell you to cut back on lattes. They tell you to cancel your $10 streaming service. They point the finger at your small daily comforts while they quietly siphon away your massive foundational wealth. They distract you with pennies while they steal your thousands. I remember looking at my own pay stub years ago. I saw the gross amount at the top, and I felt a brief moment of pride. Then I looked down at the net deposit at the bottom. The gap between those 2 numbers made me physically sick. I was paying state tax, federal tax, Social Security, health insurance premiums, and mandatory fund contributions. I realized I was working from Monday morning until Tuesday afternoon entirely for the government and the financial sector. I did not start earning money for my own family until Wednesday morning. That is the brutal reality of the W-2 lifestyle. You are an unsecured creditor to your own life. You are operating under the rule of the invisible 20%. The system is designed to seamlessly skim off the top, before you even see the money. Taxes are pulled from your gross income before the check even hits your bank. Fees are pulled from your investments before the quarterly statement is even generated. You are trying to build an empire on the leftovers of your own labor. And right now, a massive wealth transfer is happening behind the scenes. Over $124 trillion are shifting hands in the global economy. This money is moving from the uninformed to the hyper-aware. It is moving from people who lock their cash in rigid systems to people who maintain aggressive liquidity. It is moving from people paying maintenance fees to people collecting interest. If you want to catch even a fraction of that transfer, you have to break the old rules. You must stop locking your capital in penalty-laden vehicles. You must build cash reserves that give you the ultimate power of choice. Choice is the highest performing asset class in the world. When you have cash on hand, you instantly bypass the poverty premium. You buy the durable boots once and wear them for a decade. You pay the car insurance premium up front and take the massive discount. You tell the credit card companies to take a hike because you can fund your own emergencies. You transition from a passive victim of the system to an active operator within it. Before you do anything else today, I have a specific assignment for you. Log into your retirement account portal tonight. Look past the colorful graphs and the optimistic retirement projections. Dig into the prospectus documents and find the exact expense ratio you are currently paying. Calculate how much that percentage represents over the next 20 years of your projected balance. Write that dollar amount down on a sticky note and put it on your bathroom mirror. That is the exact price tag of your current financial ignorance. Once you see that number in black and white, you will never look at your paycheck the same way again. Comment code activated if you perceive the trap today. We need to talk about the reality of the street right now. $124 trillion. That is the exact amount of wealth changing hands over the next 20 years. The financial media calls it the Great Wealth Transfer. Your friendly local bank manager calls it his golden retirement ticket. But I want you to look closely at what is actually happening. Let us look at Christine. Christine is 32 years old and works as a marketing manager. She sits in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the 405 freeway every single morning. She grips a lukewarm coffee and stresses about her endless student loan payments. She quietly believes that when her father passes away, she will inherit a comfortable safety net. She thinks that money will wipe out her debt and finally let her breathe. She is completely wrong. The biggest lie Wall Street ever sold your family is that this money will transfer smoothly to your pocket. It will absolutely not. Wall Street is not waiting around for your parents to hand you a paper check. They have built a massive, invisible infrastructure to intercept that money before you ever see a dime. I call this the inheritance toll booth. It is not just the government taking estate taxes. It is the aggressive medical billing system that charges your father $40 for a generic aspirin. It is the marketing brochures for assisted living facilities that convince families they need a luxury resort to age properly. It is the 2% wealth management fees draining the retirement account while everyone is asleep. They are strip mining the American middle class. Your family's legacy is quietly being redistributed to corporate shareholders. Let us do the brutal math on Christine's future. Her father, Richard, has a retirement account sitting at $800,000. He pays a friendly financial advisor 1.5% a year to manage it. That sounds like pocket change. It is just 1.5%, right? But over 15 years, that management fee plus the lost compound interest equals over $200,000. $200,000 that just vanish from the family balance sheet. Now I want you to convert that lost money into Christine's actual time. Christine makes $35 an hour at her marketing job. After the government takes its cut, she brings home about $25 an hour. To save $200,000, Christine has to work 8,000 hours. That is 4 straight years of sitting in a gray cubicle, 4 years of toxic office politics, terrible bosses, and pure mental exhaustion. Wall Street just quietly extracted 4 years of her life, and her father smiled and thanked his advisor for the privilege. If that number just punched you in the stomach, subscribe to this channel right now. Here we do not talk about miracle stock picks or get-rich-quick nonsense. We talk about stopping the daily financial fraud you commit against yourself and your family. You need to audit your position right now before it is too late. Because if you are ignorant to the rules, you will pay the poverty premium. Think about the Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness. The rich man buys a high-quality pair of boots for $50 that lasts 10 whole years. The poor man can only afford the $10 boots, but the cheap boots leak and break every single winter. After 10 years, the poor man has spent $100 and his feet are still soaking wet. This applies directly to how your family handles their assets. The wealthy elite set up ironclad family trusts, bypass the probate courts, and legally sidestep the estate taxes. They buy the $50 boots. The middle class relies on a generic will they downloaded from an internet search. They pay massive fees to probate lawyers, court administrators, and asset liquidation penalties. They pay the poverty premium on their own inheritance. You are paying full retail price for the privilege of not knowing the rules of the game. If you are getting angry at how much of your life is being extracted, leave a like on this video. Anger is a highly productive emotion. Anger is the very first step toward building true financial efficiency. So how do you actually position yourself for this historic transfer of wealth? You stop playing defense and you start executing the reality check audit. First, you have to confront the silent inflation in your own house. Look at the grocery bill that went up 30% while your salary barely moved 2%. You are losing purchasing power every single day you leave cash rotting in a traditional checking account. Your bank is paying you 0.01% in interest. Then they turn around and lend your own money out for 30-year mortgage rates at 7%. They are making a massive profit spread on your financial laziness. Stop letting a friendly bank teller dictate your capital allocation. Second, you need to have an incredibly uncomfortable conversation with your parents this weekend. Do not let a hospital billing department dictate the end of your family's financial security. Open up the folders and look at their Medicare plans. Find out exactly who is managing their 401k. Dig into the mutual fund prospectuses and find the hidden expense ratios. Most of those generic target date funds are bloated with administrative fees designed to bleed the account dry. This is not some abstract economic theory. This is the exact money that was supposed to pay off your mortgage. I know exactly how this feels because I have been the guy sitting in the bank lobby. I know the feeling of a tight collar and a forced, uncomfortable smile. You sit across the desk from a guy in a tailored suit who uses confusing words like risk tolerance and asset diversification. He slides a glossy pie chart across the desk. You nod your head because you do not want to look stupid in front of him. You sign the paperwork without reading it. You just signed away 20% of your future investment gains because you were simply too polite to ask him how he gets paid. I call that the convenience tax. You pay it because signing the paper is easier than reading a 50-page prospectus. You pay it because after 10 hours of commuting and answering pointless emails, you are just too tired to care. They know you are tired. They built their entire business model on your physical exhaustion. They also sell you the illusion of the credit score. They convinced you that a high credit score means you are winning financially. It does not mean you are winning. A high credit score just means you are highly profitable to a commercial bank. It means you pay your debts reliably enough for them to extract maximum compound interest from you over an entire lifetime. You have to break this cycle today. You are not a disposable gear in their corporate machine. You are supposed to be the architect of your own life. But a real architect actually reads the blueprints before they pour the concrete. An architect measures the foundation to ensure the house will not collapse. You need to measure the leaks in your own financial foundation right now. Audit your monthly auto-renewing subscriptions. Audit your absurd car payment. Why are you paying $800 a month for a luxury truck you only drive to an office park? That is the fake needs marketing machine manipulating your ego. They convinced you through a television commercial that a leather steering wheel would fix the stress in your life. It did not fix anything at all. It just dug you $80,000 deeper into a hole of consumer debt. I am giving you a very specific task to complete before you go to sleep tonight. Sit down at your kitchen table with a black pen and a blank sheet of paper. Write down every single hidden fee you pay just to exist in this banking system. The account maintenance fees that vanish from your checking account. The credit card interest you pay for carrying a balance. The mutual fund expense ratios hidden in your retirement portfolio. The premium you pay for buying small, convenient packages instead of buying your groceries in bulk. Add every single dollar up for the entire year. Then divide that total number by your hourly take-home pay. Calculate exactly how many days of your life you are giving away for free just to maintain your current status quo. The final result is going to terrify you. It absolutely should terrify you. Because once you see the exact number of hours you're being robbed of, you will never casually tap your credit card at the store again. If this video opened your eyes, send it directly to that coworker who is always exhausted and complaining about being broke. We need to get out of this corporate hamster wheel together. Write, "I am the architect" in the comments to signal that you have taken back control.